The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray, feeling good, Lewis, from the offices of Duke and Duke, 100 South Broad Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We're going to start the show by taking a little road trip. We're going to go up to Mount Shasta, California. You'll see this picture that's posted in here from our good friend Brent out of Martinez, California. And as you can see, this is an absolute idyllic place. I mean, it is really beautiful. I think there's only one place in the United States that is prettier than this, and they're probably tied, and that's the Lake Tahoe area. I just think that's just one of the most beautiful places. There are so many of them. And, folks, you might not realize this, but, geographically, China and the United States overlay each other. We have almost the exact number of square miles. And China has their beautiful Grand Canyons and Yosemites and places like that, too. If you ever get a chance to see some of those places, the Yi River, oh, my God, you just wouldn't believe how beautiful those places are, too. But, the whole earth is pretty nice, and hope we don't screw it up too bad. Let's start out with the markets today. By the way, if you're looking at this thing here, you'll see the water line here on the lake is way down. It was much, much lower. It's filling up quite rapidly. And it's going to get up into that green area where the trees are. They would be back to normal. So we'll see if that's going to be the case. So we'll keep an eye on that, also as we go. Now I wanted to start out the show from one of our favorite contributors, who is Norm Winsky from Astro Trends, and if I brought this up yesterday in the show, but I wanted to just to show you something and give you a little bit of history of this. This is what he was looking at in the June S&P when the lunar eclipse happened. And as you can see, it was within 6 minutes of the exact time of the lunar eclipse. This has happened before. He's shown us this. He did this with sugar. He also did it with the S&P back on May the 19th. When we had the new moon and we had Mercury going retrograde. It was the same type of thing. The reason why I'm showing you this is what got me hooked into astrology big time. I was at Drexel Burnham, and I've told this story before, but I enjoy telling it. And for those of you who have not heard it before, you might enjoy it. Anyway, I was there, and Jim Twentyman was working with me, and I had two other brokers. I know at that time it was just Jim and I. And we were Jim's office was right next to mine. We each had our own office, but what we did was we had them cut a little hole in the little wall, a pass-through hole, so we could talk to each other without having to pick up the phone. And this woman came into my office, and she sat down, and she says, I know how to trade silver, but I don't have any money, and I was wondering if you could help me. And I said, why did you pick me? He said, well, I was over at the Dean Witter office, and they wouldn't help me there, but they said that there's a fellow over at Drexel Burnham Lambert that does this kind of stuff. So I said, well, what do you do? She says, well, I do astrology. And I said, okay. I said, well, tell me what you're doing. And she said, well, I trade silver. And she said, I don't have any money. And I said, okay. I said, we'll give it a chance. I said, I'll put up a $5,000 account. And I said, you tell me when to buy and when to sell, and we'll split the profits in the account, and we'll see how it goes. And she said, okay. And so she said, all right. It's about 3 or 4 days later. She called up, and she says, I want to buy silver at 718. And I said, well, you can't buy silver at 718 because it's only trading for about 520. At that time, silver was 77, so it was on its way to $49, but it took a long time to get there. And so it was trading around 520, and she said, no, I want to buy it at 718 in the morning. Well, silver opened, I believe, at 5:30 or 6. Must have been 6 at that time. And I said, okay. And so I picked up the telephone and I called New York. We did everything by phone in those days. And Drexel cleared through the Goldberg brothers. And you probably don't remember this, but the big boys from Bunker Hunt and all those guys, Lamar Hunt, out of Dallas and Houston, all traded through. Well, one of their big accounts was through Drexel Burnham, and we all cleared through the Goldberg brothers. The problem was that the hunts were so big that they didn't take small orders from. I didn't trade silver. I trade a lot of gold, but I didn't trade silver too often at that time. And so I didn't trade the quantities big enough to have my own floor broker. So I had the youngest brother of the Goldbergs, Richie, and I told him I wanted to buy the gold I wanted to buy silver at 7:18 in the morning. And he said, "What the hell kind of order is that?" He says, "Is that a DRT?" And that means disregard time. And I said, "No, I want to buy it at 7:18 in the morning." He said, "You want to buy it at 7:18 in 1 second or 7:18 in 59 seconds?" And I said, "Richie, I just want to buy it." He says, "Well, you got to call and give me a market order when you want to put it in, because we can't put an order in that way." So I said, "Okay, buy me one. I'll call you." So I picked up it when it became 7:18. I called, bought it at the market. She didn't use stops, so we didn't use stops. And so what happened was she continued to be right. Well, let me explain to what happened. In order to remember that the time was so important, I didn't have an alarm clock there. So I had the girl that was my secretary. At that time, it was Sue Hall, and she went across the street to, oh God, I can't remember anyway, it was a big pharmacy there, and she brought me an alarm clock, and she picked one that was the size of a fire alarm bell at a firehouse. It was so loud you couldn't believe it, and it got to be a joke in the office when that bell rang. They knew I was putting an order in on silver. And everybody was laughing and joking. This went on for about 6 trades. But after about the 6th trade, they realized that it was winning every single time. She was making 10 cents, 15 cents, 8 cents, and it was really, adding up, quite a bit. She came in and I gave her first share of the profits, I think about a month later. And it was around $1,200 to $1,300, as I remember, was her 50%. And this went on for 19 straight trades. And then all of a sudden, she disappeared. Her name was Mary Rivers. I'll never forget this. And she was trading Moon and Scorpio. Whenever Moon went into Scorpio, that was considered bullish. And it lasts 2.5 days into that sign. And so she would be in the trade about 2.5 days. And some days, the market would go against her. Sometimes, I think the biggest move down against us was pretty close to $1,000. I think it was maybe $800, and then of course it turned and would be profitable, when the moon was coming out of Scorpio. So, and then one day she just disappeared, and I still owe her. I'm sure she's passed away, because that should be almost 100 now. But anyway, I'll finish it. Wow, it took too long to tell this story. I'll finish it up. 877-927-6648.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile-based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Larry takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Okay, we're back, folks, and we were talking about my experience in astrology with Mary Rivers when I was at Drexel. Anyway, she disappeared, and we had 19 straight winning trades. Fortunately, I had a private investigator, was one of the customers that we had at Drexel, and he tried to find her, and we couldn't. She went over to Dean Witter over in the Santa Monica area, which is over the hill near the ocean, and she was trading there before I met her, and we tried to look for her there, but we didn't. My guess is someone gave her a better deal, but the problem was we had to figure out, what she was doing. And Twentyman, of course, he was really good in astrology, and he said, all we got to do is to figure out the exact time, and then we'll ask Neil Michelson down at Astro Computing, and he'll tell us. And of course, we had all these times, so I called Neil, and he was one of the customers that I had made some money in soybeans back in '76. And so he sort of, owed me a favor, he said. So anyway, he ran a quick test, and it was Moon in Scorpio, and then we went back and looked, and then we followed this for many years. In fact, Twentyman still does, I believe. And basically, it's only about 60% right. The problem was she was in a monster bull market. If you'll remember, silver from 76 through 80 was just basically straight up. So it was tremendously biased. And that was the problem, and that's why you had so many straight winners. But it still has a positive expectation, but not nearly as much as it did in the past when we were in that big bull market. Now, if we're in a big bull market again, maybe that'll help. Maybe I will look again at this particular thing. But the work that Norm Winsky did on that E-mini S&P reminded me of it, so I just wanted to bring it to you. Let's get back to the markets. I'm tired of bringing this up, but someone's asked me to talk about it, so I just basically wanted to show you what I was looking at back in those old days, and we'll see what's going on. This is what we were looking at in gold. This coming up to this week, as you remember, we were looking for that area around 212 to 207 to be a potential bottom. We did have a 3 drive to a bottom pattern there from Wednesday through Sunday. Then we had a pretty good rally. We rallied from 1206 up to 1223. Yesterday and last night we backed off to that. Last night's low was 1215.10, I believe. And that sets up a potential ABCD swing here up around that 1234 level, 1233.34. We'll see what's happened. But you want to start looking for a spot where this thing might test one more time. My personal preference is, and of course gold doesn't believe me very often, is that we get up here and then we go down one more time to that 1190 area in the gold market. That would make me extremely happy because that fits in with a lot of things that we're looking at on a much longer term basis. Now silver is acting poorly again. We got down and touched that $15, almost touched the $15 an ounce level last night, and we're holding up a little bit, but still not too much. But we'll watch this also. But it's getting ready to turn. It's just a question. Well, I think it's getting ready to turn. Nobody knows for sure, but that's one of the ones that we're certainly keeping a really close eye on because it makes a lot of sense. Okay, we've got one other one that is in play for today, and that is the Treasury bonds. I want to bring this chart up to let you see it because this is the one that we put in the newsletter this past week. You'll notice that we have this ABCD structure that's forming up at this 164.20 level. Now that's a 382 retracement of the high we made back on February 10th. If you remember, that was the big move down in the market when we hit 1806 in the S&P. We hit 171 and change in the bonds, and now we're making a 382 retracement. It's taken a full 2 weeks to get there, which tells us that it's not nearly as strong as it was. This move is also almost exactly equal of the move that we had from late February into late February. We had a really strong 1 week rally that was very similar. That lasted 1 week. This one has taken 2 weeks to do it, and it's doing it in ABCD structure, which is what we like to see. And as long as these bonds don't get above 165, I think it's got, well, say 165.10, somewhere in that ballpark. We'll be looking at it. But watch that price of 164.21 today in that, 164.21, 122. You're not going to be that accurate anyway. So just keep an eye on that, because if it turns down from there, that tells us that maybe Miss Yellen's speech today will be viewed as potentially a little bit negative. But we want to watch that. You might want to keep an eye on what John Logan's looking at as far as his TAS profiles, because they have some pretty good support and resistance areas, and if it lines up with that, then there's a place where you pays your dues and take your chances. That's the bottom line. So that's an interesting one that we're looking at right now. Now there is one other that it is coming close here, and that is our crude oil. Well, it's not our crude oil, it's the crude oil. And what we'll do here is we'll take a look at the oil on a hourly chart, which goes back at least several weeks, and you'll be able to see that we made a top up there at that 42 level. As you remember, on the daily basis, that was an exact 61% retracement of the high we made 3 months ago, to the exact tick. I think it was two ticks over the number. No, 12 ticks over the number. So that's what we're watching. So if this is correct, we're looking at a potential ABCD move to the downside. Folks, this will be the first ABCD move in the crude oil over a period of time that we've had since this market bottom back at 26 and change. So we really need to pay very close attention, because H.M. Gartley, in his book Profits in the Stock Market from 1937, he said, buy the first ABCD correction in a bull market and sell the first ABCD correction in a bear market. And that's probably wise words from someone who probably wrote the best, not probably, he did write the best book on technical analysis that I've ever seen. The problem was descriptions of some of the things were not nearly as, what should we call, comprehensive as they probably should be. Now, we've had a request from someone to talk a little bit about the, let's just take, this is the German DAX. This is from one of our subscribers in Germany named Alex. Well, he's a listener. He's not a subscriber. And he asked about the DAX and to look at it to see if it had any of the patterns that we look at. And this is what the DAX has done over the past 2 weeks. As you can see, it made a butterfly pattern coming into March the 17th, and it had a huge break. Then it had a big A, B, C, D pattern, as you can see here. That completed a 3-drive to a top pattern. So, and then yesterday's low opened at the 61% retracement and then went down below it a little bit later, but still right in that area. 877-927-6648.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters. In quiet markets, investors search for new trading opportunities. We'd like to introduce you to a new product that provides opportunities even in flat markets. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization capability. Nadex's unique short-term binary options allow traders and investors to capitalize on strategies even when the underlying markets are quiet. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and I noticed that the gold has jumped about $10 an ounce since we've come on the air here. Looks like Mr. Z is in there buying with both hands again. We've got some pretty stiff resistance up here at this 1232 to 1234 level, based on some of the patterns that we're looking at, and we'll see if that's going to hold it, and we'll see if we get one more move down, and that's the one that I would really be interested in looking at. So we'll see if that's going to be the case. We got silver after getting as low as 1508 last night, has rallied 20 cents a barrel, 20 cents an ounce, to get up to the 1527 level. Still in a downtrend, but at least rallying off the bottom. This is ideal for the setup that we're hoping for longer term. And hoping is a terrible word for trading, folks. That is really not what you want to be looking at when you're doing this. Now, I want to bring to your attention this bond trade, because what we're looking at here, since the middle of March, we had a low on the 14th, of course. We had a higher low on the 16th, and we had another higher low on the 23rd. That's a 135 pattern, because you have higher bottoms, and when they come in at Fibonacci numbers like we did here in the bonds at 786, that offers what we think is a relatively low risk opportunity, and that's what we're trying to look at here. And so far it's worked. It completed the first ABCD pattern up at the 164.08 level. Then we backed off yesterday, and Thursday, and again on Sunday, to the exact 61% retracement at 162.18. Then we got up to the 163.22 yesterday, and then today we have reached up to the 164.03. And if you look at this last ABCD pattern, it could take you up into the 61% retracement there at 164.24, and you'll notice there's a whole lot of numbers up there between 164.24 and 165.10. That's the last number. That's the 1.618. So above 165.10, this pattern will have extended and would be considered wrong. So the spot to watch it, of course, is right at that 164.21. And why is that important? Because that's the 61% retracement on the last daily high, and it's a perfect 382 of the high that we made from February 10th. So that's what we're watching when we're looking at these. These numbers that we look at when we're giving these times, like from February 10th, that's basically another way of looking at cycles. It doesn't have a time parameter, but when you have the price parameters line up from several different swings, that usually means that some of these cycles are coming in at the same time. And remember, it's just a probability. It's certainly nothing that you can that says it's going to be 100%. There's nothing 100%. So if you can get anything better than 60% in this business, you're going to do okay, in my opinion. That's what I would think. So we'll look at it. Someone's asked a question about why I'm looking at gold so importantly, and I will show you this. This is just a small piece of the puzzle, and believe me, it's one comprehensive puzzle. This is the look here that we have. This is gold on the daily basis going back for the last several years, and you'll notice there's a 20-minute line that comes in there at 1191. That's why we're watching it so closely. We're about $40 away from there, but gold moves around quite a bit. It dropped over $60 last week, and so to go back down one more time to touch that line would be something would be very, very good. And that line is stationary right now because of the time that's involved here. We could still make it without any trouble. There's just a lot of other things there that are moving around that'll make us look. Now we want to take a quick look at the stock market. We've had a situation where we had a move in some of these things that should have held up relatively well, and I wanted to let's try it again. That came into resistance, pretty strongly, and we will take a look at this right now. We'll look at the main. Now, the best thing to do is to probably look at the New York Stock Exchange Index, that's the best one because it's really the really one to look at. Now, there's going to be some pretty good support, I would think, in the S&P down around the 2016 level. That'll put an ABCD in from the high we made at the 2047 level that we made on the 23rd, which was our lunar eclipse and our full moon. So that's a pretty good spot. But keep in mind, folks, that we've had lower tops now since May 19th. We've had two of them. We had one in November, and then we just had another one right at the 786 of the move from November. And if you went back and looked at the high from May 19th, that was a 61% retracement. And that's how we come up with these cycle dates. It just happened to be, I don't think it's coincidence, but it came at the same time that we were looking at a potential, turn on the lunar eclipse and full moon. And as Norm Winsky pointed out, the lunar eclipse have a better predictability with the stocks than do solar eclipses. I do not know why, but that's what the figures say, so you should pay pretty much attention to it. I found the best ones for shorter term to me are the new moons and full moons, of course, and then when you have apogee and perigee, to get these super full moons and stuff, that's really important. And if we look at the, Venus-Uranus cycle, which is 0.618 of the year, which is 255 days, that's another one that lines up really nicely for short-term trading. But those are just guidelines, folks. I haven't found, we found some really good things in astrology. There's no question about it. And I have to say that Shane Smolian, my co-author, God bless him for showing up at my office one day, and we were able to do this book together. Well, he did the book. I basically pointed to him. I said, "You see that thing up in the air there? Those are stars." I said, "Try to figure something out." And with Alfie Lavoie's software, we were able to do some really good things, and there's going to be other things coming. In fact, some of these things that he's done with the speed of the planets, which is work that George Baer did, it should be very, very interesting. In fact, he was looking for a top around the same time that we were looking at it. So we'll see. But we should have some pretty good support around 2016 in the S&P, and that might line up with the bonds hitting the that 164.21 level if they get up to that level. So we've started here just a tiny bit lower. We got down to 2020 in the S&P. Our bonds are they're not getting up there, and they're not even above 164 yet. So we'll see if that's going to do too much. And we had a pretty good run in gold. We had a nice $14 run in gold to get us up to $12.29 on the June gold. So we'll see if that's going to be a area right around that 1230 area where we would like to see it stop, because that would give us an ABC down to 1191. 877-927-6648.
If you're looking to discover a new financial resource and diversify your financial portfolio, consider the new Market Safe Commodity Solution CD from Everbank. This 5-year U.S. dollar-denominated CD gives you exposure to 8 equally weighted commodities, including WTI crude oil, gold, silver, copper, nickel, soybeans, corn, and sugar, in one powerful CD. With annual pricing caps of 70% per component, you could earn up to 70% upside payment at maturity if the commodities increase in value across annual pricing dates. And should the opposite occur, your principal is 100% protected. Keep in mind, returns are based on CD performance. There is no annual percentage yield or periodic rate of interest on this indexed CD. Don't miss out. Take advantage of this financial resource designed to grow with the times. The April 14th funding deadline is quickly approaching, so hurry over to everbank.com/TFNN for the CD's term sheet and other important product details and disclosures. Once again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. This advertisement is sponsored content. Everbank is a member FDIC.
It's 2016, and TFNN has a brand new programming lineup to kick things off. Starting January 4th, swim lessons by Thinkorswim and TD Ameritrade will be airing 5 days a week at noon Eastern Time. Join hosts Scott Connor, Kevin Hinks, and Cindy Faber as they host their daily options program live at noon 5 days a week with no commercials for the entire hour. Nico DeHaan and Paige Clark will be moving their program, Living a Primal Lifestyle, to twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7 a.m. until 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Wake up with Nico and Paige and start your day off right. The Bull Bear Binary Option Hour by Nadex will now be live Mondays and Fridays at 10 a.m. Start and end the week with the three hosts, Tom O'Brien, Tommy O'Brien, and Daryl Martin, as they break down the world of trading binary options and spreads. For all the details on the new 2016 programming lineup, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Catch the Money Masters as they teach you the art of mastering money when it comes to trading and investing. Next on TFNN.
Okay, we're back, folks, and I've noticed that we had a little bit of a $9 drop in gold here in the matter of a few minutes here. So we'll see. Of course, it snapped back a little bit. It's a little thin, I guess, this early in the morning. So we want to keep an eye on, what's going on with that from this area that we're looking at. We did get the bonds above the 164 level briefly, but we should get another 20 points higher in those to get to that 61% retracement on the daily chart, which is also the 382. I've had a question from one of our favorite folks in Singapore. William has asked me about Tesla. Unfortunately, I don't have access to the charts as I'm on the air here, because if I try to pull the charts up, the connection is not nearly as good as far as the quality of the thing, and so I like to get these done ahead of time. So tomorrow we're going to cover Tesla, but we'll also, at the break tomorrow, we're going to have our good friend Bill Meridian on from Vienna, Austria, on cycles. He's been very instrumental. If you remember last year when we had the big down move into August, during that July-August period, he alerted to us the panic cycle that was there, and it worked out, just about perfectly as what he said was going to happen. So we want to keep an eye on what he's going to tell us tomorrow. He is a premier financial astrologer. I know about 4 or 5 of them. He's probably one of the best in the same category that we have with Arch Crawford and Norm Winsky, and Bill Meridian is certainly way up there. He worked for I think it was the Maktoum brothers in Abu Dhabi. He was there, I believe, for 12 years as their financial astrologer there. So then he retired to Vienna, Austria. Lives a very luxurious life now, folks. He has it pretty well made over there. Okay, now we've had a question about the euro. I still think the euro has a chance to get up to this level here. Oh shucks, hold on one second. The old Italian hit their old wrong button one more time. We'll take a look here at the euro, and we've got a chance for this euro because if you'll notice here, I was looking to see if we were going to get a pullback down to that 110.75 level, 109.75 level, but it's taken a whole week, and all we've been able to do is to make the 382 retracement at the 111.50 area. And so that's a pretty bullish sign here. The fact that it took 5 days, to make a 382 retracement. So it looks like it's got a chance here. We've now gone above the 112 area, and so there's a possibility here that if we can stay above this 111.50 area, we're going to be looking at a spot where we could hit the 114 level. And you'll notice from that chart that I posted into Tiger TV, that's a double ABCD. We have two ABCD patterns in here in a bear market, and it's taken several months now to complete it. And boy, that's a mother, God, and country. You got to love that type of trade. Believe me, it would really be an interesting to look at. I've had another question. We did cover crude oil, but I've had another question about it, and that is the number that I'm looking at in crude on the daily basis. Like the first spot is at $36 a barrel. That's down about 20% from, well, about 15% from the high, and we'll take a look at it there. The big ABCD structure comes in $2, well, a dollar and a quarter a barrel from where we're trading right now. That's at 36.75, and I believe we have oil statistics today, as I recall, and I'm not 100% sure of that, but I think it's pretty close, and we'll see if that's going to mean very much at all, and we'll look at that as it comes. One other question, I thought I answered this, but in the stock market, as long as we do not take out that high of the 23rd of March when we had the lunar eclipse and full moon, we should be heading down. That was not too far off from a Bradley date, but we did have that lunar eclipse along with the full moon, which is quite accurate, and as Norm pointed out, it was within 6 minutes of the spot on actual high. That's the problem, well, it's not a problem, but it's a function of astrology, is that it shows you glimpses of these things. And you go back and look historically, and it might only work 7 or 8 times out of 10, or maybe three out of times out of 10. So what you have to do is you have to have, something else there to give you a reason to put the trade on. And that's why we look at these patterns that we look at, because it's like the chicken or the egg, which comes first, the patterns or the astrology, and it's got to be the astrology. That's got to be the case, because that's been here a very, very long time. And with the patterns, we're dealing with geometry, and with astrology, you're dealing with the mathematics of the universe. And that goes back to Isaac Newton and the other dudes that are out there, and that did so much wonderful work, Pythagoras and a few of the others. And Pythagoras is the master of it, in my opinion, folks, because he was looking at the Earth being round, well, in what, 650 BC, and Columbus didn't find the New World until 1492. So there was about a 2,000-year gap that he was ahead of everybody else. Einstein said before God was numbers. No, he said, well, he did say that. He said God does indeed geometricize, and he also said there was God and there was man, and in between was Pythagoras. He attributed Pythagoras to basically inventing fire. That's such a big thing that he did with his Pythagorean theorem. Okay, on to the next one. We've had a question about the grain markets. We've had a little bit of a move in the grain markets. The wheat's perked its head up and had a little bit of a rally. Corn and beans have had a little bit of a rally. We're still following them very closely. We have Rich Anderson on call from Anderson Capital Management to tell us that when we're ready and getting close, and I think we are getting close. The planning has started now. We get into it real heavily the first week in April, specifically with corn. Beans are more towards the middle of May, but we'll be watching it for a move. What we'd like to see is the first move out of this congestion area, and then the pullback, and that would be the one to really give you a good idea. In other words, have the market have its first burst out of this long-term downtrend, and then when it pulls back, that's the one that you want to be, really watching. And that's what we're really doing in the gold market on a long-term basis. We're watching that, particular
scenario that we're going to get down, to that area. Now, I wanted to bring out, someone's asked a question about the silver, and I just wanted to bring the chart up here. If you'll notice here in silver at this $14.60 per ounce level, that's 60 cents from where we're trading right now. That would equate to about $11.90 in the gold. But if we got there, you'd be looking at a beautiful 1.618 off the March lows, and you'd be watching a 61% retracement off of the December lows. And boy, that's the one you want to be looking at. So 60 cents lower in silver, the bells will ring. 877-927-6648.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks. I had one other funny story about my time at Drexel. The Goldberg brothers they were still, I'm sure they're still there. It was 2004, and I had a guest. We were in New York for one of the money conferences, and I had a guest from Europe, and he wanted to go down to the pits, and the only ones that were really showing anything were the silver pit and orange juice. And well, there wasn't much in orange, but we went down to the silver pit, and my friend was taking pictures in the pit, and that's a no-no. And so the guard came up and asked him to take the camera down, and just then a man came up and he said, hey, this is okay, this guy's all right. And it was Richie Goldberg. Here he was 25 years later, and he still remembered me, believe it or not. It was really a surprise. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Folks, we got a caller from California. Brent, how are you?
I'm doing just great. Larry, how are you today?
I posted your chart of Mount Shasta. Everybody liked it. In fact, 3 people have booked vacations there this week. So that'll help the economy. What can I do for you, buddy?
Yeah, I heard you talking about that. It is all full now except for that tree line. So that was.
That's wonderful. That's great.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you can bring up the chart of Columbia Transocean, RIG.
And I'm really not able to do that right now. But what I'll do is I will post it on tomorrow's. I've got to do Tesla tomorrow, and I'll be happy to do that one also. But I've had 2 requests to repost the picture of Mount Shasta, so I'll certainly do that for you. But I'll put rig up for tomorrow. Does it run along with what the price of crude oil is doing and stuff, or what?
It does track it pretty close. And that question was, it looks like it did. It basically did a move. I'm just ballparking the numbers from 7 up to 13.
Uh-huh.
And now it's doing a 786 retracement, and in conjunction with that, it's like an AB equals CD. They're kind of combined at that point.
Oh, good. Okay. Hey, thanks for calling in, buddy. I'll cover it tomorrow.
All right. Take care, Larry.
You bet. Live every day in an attitude of gratitude, and may God bless.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.